This is a steering wheel. It's designed to turn the car. It's not for you to take your anger out on. If you ever make this noise, stop. It's not good. I feel like this is one of those things that nobody ever tells beginner drivers. The steering is a delicate instrument. You don't need much movement to get a lot of input. You should never, ever grip the steering wheel. The grip is always light. It's always delicate. Literally all we're doing with the steering wheel is just guiding it where we want to go. If anything ever goes wrong with your steering, having a loose grip will allow the steering to self-correct. Cars always want to go in a straight line. If you start sliding or drifting or anything goes a little bit wrong, you can actually correct your car just by letting go of the steering wheel. And if you have a light grip on the steering wheel, that means you're naturally letting the steering wheel self-center all the time. So even when my hands look like they're holding onto the steering wheel, they're really not. It's a very gentle grip. I'm just resting my hands on it. So stop trying to hold the wheel with white knuckles. It doesn't help. It's not good. And people never teach beginners drivers how to have a good mindset for driving. It can be boiled down to don't be a dick. I'm going to unpick that one for you a little bit deeper. You never want to get out on the road and try and think you're going to show anyone how fast you are, show everyone how cool your car is. You're going to drive fast and impress people. The only time you should be driving fast is for your own enjoyment, your own pleasure. It should always be controlled within the limits, within your visibility. But do you see how I break up that hill because I don't know what's around the next corner? Driving fast and enjoying your car in a spirited manner is a great thing. But as petrol heads, we have to do it in the right way. We have to not be a nuisance to the family in the Nissan Qashqai, because they're just going about their day. They're well within their rights to use this road to get to wherever they're going. And I often think when people get frustrated on the road, not because of what anyone else did or the situations that have happened, it's because of a poor mindset. It's like having expectations that are too high. People have the expectations that they're going to go for a great drive and the road's going to be clear and there's not going to be any other road users and they're going to have a great time just wringing the car out by themselves. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes you get a Qashqai and you've got to do 40 on the best bit of road. And then these same people will go and do a dangerous overtake and then give petrol heads a bad name. It's unnecessary. We don't need it. We're better than this. It's all great telling you guys how important a mindset is, but how do you actually have a better mindset? I'll be open and honest with you guys. Therapy changed my life. As a kid, I grew up in a really rough area, poor family, and I struggled a ton as a young adult. I would be very quick to anger behind the wheel, and I just didn't have the tools to change this. I didn't know how to regulate my own emotions. Today's paid partner, BetterHelp, is a great way to connect you with a credentialed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. You fill out a questionnaire and you match with a therapist as soon as possible. And this therapist can be switched out at any time for no cost if they're not the right fit. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/mickdrivescars for 10% off your first month of therapy. Nobody ever tells beginner drivers how to use their brakes. Your brake pedal is not an on-off switch. It's not either off or on. Your pedal can be modulated. You can choose how much braking you want. And actually, if you want maximum braking, there is an even better way rather than just smashing on the brake pedal to get 100% braking. It's called braking progressively, building up your brake pressure, starting at maybe 50 and then working into the pedal up to 100. This will load your front suspension, get you more bite, and eventually get you more braking performance. In emergency situations, to just delete reaction time, you should probably use the smash the pedal down as hard as you can strategy. But if you've got a situation you can plan for, you can use that progressive braking to get yourself even more bite out of the pedal. I'm coming into this corner quite quickly. But if I progressively brake, I can get loads of braking performance out. Here again, progressively squeeze the pedal. I really bring my speed down a long way, very quick. And it's not by having better brakes, it's not about having better tires, it's just by using the pedal in a more effective way. If you're in some of these town situations, you'll probably get more out of your brakes by just using 100%. But if you're driving spiritedly, if you're a newer driver and you're into cars and you want to learn how to be a better driver, braking is one of the best ways to do that. If you get really good at braking, you can out-brake faster cars on the road. People will be shocked that you can keep up with them simply just because you can brake better than they can. You brake later than they can because you know how to use the pedal to get more braking performance. It's a huge game changer. Another thing nobody tells beginner drivers is not to combine inputs. When you're braking, brake in a straight line. Let go of the brakes, turn, keep your steady state throttle as you're turning, and as you unwind the steering wheel, use more throttle. Again, off the throttle, steady throttle, set my steering, and as the steering comes off, I increase the throttle. If you do that, you can never go wrong. Now, once you get more advanced, you can learn the intricacies in different cars where you can start to combine inputs. Mainly this is called trail braking, where you're still braking as you start to steer into the corner. This is done for very specific reasons, and if you're a beginner driver, don't even try attempting this. Just keep it real simple, turn in, steady throttle, as you unwind the steering, give more throttle. Don't make it more complicated than that, because it really doesn't need to be. You will never have an issue. Another thing nobody tells new drivers is how to choose gears in a manual or when using manual mode in an automatic car. If you're just commuting or you're just trying to get to where you're going, just choose the highest gear that doesn't lug your engine. You'll get the best fuel economy, you'll drive gently, that's pretty much the end of it. If you want to accelerate, you have to use that gearbox. Choose a lower gear that's higher in the RPM that gives you a bit more performance. It's imperative that you do that, because if you try and accelerate in a really high gear, nothing happens. Gear choice is so important, especially for corners. You need the right gear to pull you out of the corner and enjoy your car and make good progress. If I do the opposite and I shift down before the corner, then I turn through the corner, if I try to accelerate out, I don't have that response. Doesn't feel good. But if I shift down before the corner, pitch the car in, so enjoyable. I could have even had second there. I'll have second for this one. Pitch the car through the corner, use the throttle on the way out, so enjoyable. So enjoyable. See, now even third is too high a gear. I'm going uphill, I don't have enough revs. I needed second there. At these low speeds, this car needs second gear to be able to accelerate. Now when I use the full throttle, we actually go somewhere. Nobody teaches new drivers how to not go too hot into a corner. How you go into a corner starts and ends with your visibility. How fast you can go is determined by how far you can see. There is something called the vanishing point, which will change the game for you if you're a new driver. Focus on the point in the distance as far as you can see, where your vision ends. Right now it's over this crest for me, and pay attention to whether you're going towards that point or that point's moving away. So you see where that car is just about to turn? That's the end of my vision. I can't see past there. I'm currently moving towards that point. It's getting closer. As you move towards the point where your vision ends, the vanishing point, you must bring your speed down. The faster you approach that point, the sharper that corner is about to be. So even if you don't know the corner, you can read how sharp it's going to be based on how fast you're approaching the vanishing point. When the vanishing point is doing the opposite and moving away from you, the corner is opening up. So let me give you an example. My vision, oh God. The intricacies of filming in Wales. My vanishing point is currently on that hill about half a mile away. So I could go through this corner as fast as I want with no repercussions apart from sheep. My vanishing point is right where that car has just gone out of view, but as we approach it, it's right on the apex of this corner, and now it's moving forward. It stopped just about where that car is, and now it's all the way at the end of this street here. When the vanishing point is moving away from you, the corner is opening up, and that's when you unwind the steering and use your throttle. So your vanishing point is incredibly important. If you use this, you will never enter a corner too hot or too fast, because you'll use your vision to inform how fast you should be going. It's a cheat code for driving on the road.